Hello and welcome again. This is Imran Siraj and we are studying quality management system. In the last lecture, we discussed about the quality aspects of the product and processes now. So at that time, we also discussed how the quality of a product is measured. So we discussed that there are two types of module. There are two types of process verification parameters that are basically one are called attributes, another called parameters. Parameters are the definite figures that we can measure, and attributes are the characteristics that cannot be measured, like is it hot, yes or no, is it tasty, yes or no, is it luster, is it is, does it have luster or similar, like many other properties that cannot be measured. Only we have to pass or not pass, or okay or not okay. So are these properties use different types of chart, whereas the properties that can be measured are used different types of charts. For example, we have a part that has dimensions, so that dimensions, length, dia, width, height, etc. can be measured. So we can draw control charts, we can draw charts and for uh, the measured dimensions as well as for attributes. So we have to check whether type of uh, which type of parameter we are discussing. So first of all, we need to understand the control charts. Control charts are the charts that basically show the population of the product. We define the control limits, and then we plot the exact sample size on the control charts, and this way we calculate whether the control charts are giving good, whether the we are producing good quality products or not. So we can see control charts are the charts that depicts or that portray the position of the production that we are giving. So these are the observations. We can see there are two control limits, upper control limit and lower control limit, and this is the average between these two average lines. So we will plot different products. For example, we have a shaft of 10 millimeter dia. Nominal dia is 10 millimeters. So this will have two limits. One is called upper control limit, another called lower control limit, because the 10 dia is hard to maintain. So although it can be maintained, it will have very high cost. So in order to ease the manufacturing, what we do, we give some upper control limit and lower control limits, or we can give margin to the basic, yeah, nominal dia. So this way we can say that if 10 millimeter dia is 10.5 or 9.5, or in between these two, it can be taken as acceptable level, acceptance level. So whether the dimension of the dia is 9.5, 9.6, 9.7, 10, or 10 is okay, or 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4, 10.5. If the dimension of this of a particular product lies between 9.45 and 10.5, we will take the dimension as okay, we will pass the product. So upper control limits and lower control limits are given, and this way we plot the products on this control chart. So we have taken 20 parts. For example, we have taken 20 parts by defined by sampling plan. We have 20 parts, so we will be defining first part, second part, first part. Suppose first part is 10.2, so plotted here. Then second part is 9.9, plotted here. Then third part is 10.4, then 10.35, then 9.8, then 10.1, then 10.4. So 9.9, exactly 10, then 10.3, then 9.8, then 9.7, and then 9.9, and then 10, and 9.8, and then 10.2, 10.3, 9.2, 9.3, 10.1, 9.2, 10.3, 10.4, 10.25, 10, 10.1, 9.3, 9.2, and then 9.9. So we have plotted all the 20 parts on this control chart, or we have plotted all the parts in this control chart. So first of all, we need to know what is the upper control limit and lower control limit, how it is defined. Then we have to find, we have to plot all the observations that we have done by measuring the parts. So for a suitable sampling plan, we have taken the samples rather than checking 100%. We have taken samples. We have already discussed. So what we'll do, we will now take, we will plot samples on this control chart, and then we will see what are the variations and causes. If the process lies, if the all parts lies very close to this average line or normal line, the process is very good and we are producing a very good quality product. But if we are producing one sample here, second year, third year, first, fourth year, so this is not going to produce a good sample and not going to stable sample or stable production. And also, if the product crosses the upper control limit or lower control limit, out of 20, we have a plan C is equal to 1. If we is equal to n is equal to 20, C is equal to 2, and then if we are checking 20 parts, n is equal to 20, we have checked 20 populations and we are checking 20 parts, and these 20 parts have 2 rejections or 3 rejections. So for that case, we may reject the whole lot, because on the basis of samples, we may assume that whole lot has, out of 20, it has 2 or 3, that means 10% rejection is there or 30% rejection is there. So this way we will reject the sample, so the whole lot, depending upon the size of sampling, depending upon the sampling plan. So that is the first aspect. And another aspect is that we have to check what are the causes that are basically giving so much changes to this plan. So this could be chance causes and assignable causes. Chance causes are that machine vibrations, voltage vibrations, compensation vibration, etc. And assignable chances are that lack of skill in operation, wrong maintenance practice, new vendors, raw material defects, effects in error in setting jigs and fixtures. So this was the assignable causes and non-assignable causes. We have already discussed SPC, statistical process control. Now we'll be discussing control charts, variable control charts, and attribute control charts. We have discussed yesterday. And again, today I repeated, attributes are the parts that are not measured, whereas variable charts are the dimensions that are measured. So we have two types: variable control charts, bar X and bar R chart, and sigma charts. Then attribute charts, we have P chart, NP chart, C chart, and U chart. So all these we'll discuss today. So one by one we'll take. First of all, we'll discuss the variable charts. In the variable charts, variable control charts, we have three types of charts: bar X, R, and sigma charts. So how bar X, what are the benefits? Objectives of control charts, benefits. So we discussed already benefits, and we will be discussing how to draw control charts. So first of all, for drawing control charts of variation, we'll draw bar XR chart, bar R chart. First of all, we have to draw upper control limit and lower control limit. For lower control limit and upper control limit, what we need to average of several past R values and in the center line of the control chart. First of all, we have to calculate average R value. Average R value, average range by measuring 20 parts. So first we measure the 20 parts and then we define the range. Once we define the range is the mean of all the 20 parts, So we define bar R. Then we know value of D3 and D4. These are taken by the standard deviation table. D3 and D4 have the fixed values for 3 sigma. We'll be taking. So we'll be taking from that chart. So all we need to know, first of all, we need to know control limits upper and lower. Then for upper limit we have uh, D4 bar R, and for lower we have D3 bar R. So D3 and D4 value will be given by the standard deviation table 3 sigma we will be taking. And for, so once we have defined the upper control limit and lower control limit for bar R chart, another what we'll do for bar X, have to find we'll have to find for bar X chart. What we have to do, we have to find the mean dimension of the all 20 parts. Then we will know sigma X. Sigma is standard deviation. Then we'll find standard deviation. Standard deviation can be calculated by sigma y square root of n, and this is the standard deviation. So this way we'll find sigma and then mean of all the samples, and by adding mean to twice of sigma twice of standard deviation, we will be finding upper control limit, and by deducting we will be calculating lower control limit. So this way again we have calculated upper and control limit for bar X chart and bar R chart. So these are two values that we have calculated. So bar X R chart, this is X chart, standard deviation. We have again calculated standard deviation. So now substituting these value, we will be finding the bar X R chart values, and sigma is calculated. So we will be finding all these values. Again, when we'll be coming to solve the example, first we must understand the procedure of drawing control charts. After that, we'll be drawing control charts. We'll take by examples. So this was the first uh, technique of control charting by variable, control charting by variables, then control charting by attributes. That means we have to draw control charts by application of attributes. So attributes we have p chart, np chart, and c chart. So again we have to draw the control limits. So control limits are calculated because in the earlier case we calculated the control limits by taking the mean dimension and by taking the standard deviation. But in this case we have to go for the standard deviation, as there is no way of finding any mean values. So this way we have to find standard deviation bar p 1 minus bar p divided by whole n is sample size, maybe 10, 20, 100, and bar p is the average of several past p values and center lines on the chart. So for example, we are having 100 pieces checked, and then we have out of 100 inspection we have got 69 or 72 are okay. So then what we can do, we can find bar p, that is 0.79, 1 minus 0.79 divided by n, that is 100. So this way we'll be finding square root, and this is the sigma p, that is standard deviation. Once we know the standard deviation, we will add the standard z sigma p multiplied by z value, then sigma p standard deviation, and adding and subtracting. So Z is the normal deviation from the average. How much part deviate? So this way we can find upper control limits and lower control limits or P chart. So if this will be this can be understand by an example. So let's come to the examples. So standard deviation of the process, sigma unknown. So several sample size, yes, for solved example one we'll go. So we can see several samples of sigma size n is equal to 8 have been taken from today's production of fence post. So there is a case where we have to check the n is equal to 8 and then 99.733% upper and control limits. So this is the sample size that fall in upper and control limits. So the average post was 3 yards in length and average sample range was 8 yard. So we have to got first thing is n is equal to 8. That is number of samples we have to check. Number one. Number two, average sample range was 0.15 yard and this much data was found in between the upper and control limits. So first of all, we will be finding A2 upper control limit, bar R we know, range is given 0.015, these value D3 and D4 we have taken from the chart. So 3 is the bar X, 3 yard is the average post was 3 yard and range is 0.015 bar X, double bar X is given and then A2 value is calculated from the statistical table depending upon the number of size. If number of size is 5 then it is 0.25 and then it is number of sample size 8 then A2 value is taken as 37. So this will be given on the question paper and for the practical purposes we can take from any book of quality control. So these value 3 plus 0.037 multiplied by 0.035, so 3.006 is the upper control limit and lower control limit this way is 0.2.996. So let's now solve an example with this. Let's now plot all the samples that fall in the between. So these are the upper control limit 3.036 and 2.996. So we have calculated the upper and control limits. So this is sample size 7. These are the sample size ranges given. So we have calculated all the bar X, double bar X mean sample size. Then R we have got to know 26. Then upper control limit, lower control limit. So this will be like this and this is the actual plot or graph that we have taken. So you can see we have calculated the upper control limit, then standard deviation, then all these values are together, then we can easily solve this problem. So these are the problems that we have. This is the main procedure that we have done, and then we have solved this example. You have to take yourself examples and then only you will be able to solve. Then will be able to solve on your own. So better you try few examples from the book we have, and then only you would be able to understand the basic concepts. And still, if unclear to you, you may get in touch with me at my phone number 9069360400. So for the time being, I am signing off. So we'll be discussing more in our next. Okay, bye. See you.